Hey ladies, it's Kathy here with the Character Corner. Today I want to talk to you about 5 parenting mistakes that can turn your child's heart away from you. And I'm sure you'll agree that raising our children can be tough and challenging, but we also know that it's worth it. But I know sometimes as parents, we tend to feel like we're doing something wrong. But it's important for us to remember that none of us are perfect and all of us make mistakes. Many parents think that the most common mistake that we make as parents is yelling at their children. And that's probably a big one. However, there are some additional parenting mistakes that can push our kids away from us. And it's important that we know how these mistakes affect our children so that we can avoid them and instead provide a nurturing environment for our family and win our children's hearts at the same time. So today I want to talk about those 5 parenting mistakes that turn your child's heart from you. Number one, we strive to look right, but we fail to emphasize the heart issues that are so important. If you look at the way you discipline, often you may discover that you spend much of your time on managing their behavior rather than changing their hearts. This isn't how we reach our children's hearts. Their heart isn't touched when we focus on the behavior, and God is concerned with the heart because that's where change takes place. In the book, Parenting is Heart Work, it says, the greatest parenting tip we can share with you is this: maintain a strong connection to your Heavenly Father. He offers spiritual guidance and direction to help you work through your own heart issues so you can become effective with your children. Ask God to show you the real issues your son or daughter is facing, then pray. So make sure that you're emphasizing the heart issues rather than the outward behavior. Number two, we strive to keep our kids from the wrong while failing to befriend them ourselves. In order to develop a relationship with our children and be connected families, we have to spend time with them. It's not enough to protect them from the wrong influences, the wrong people, or the wrong activities. We have to fill that void by spending time with them and giving them replacement alternatives that are godly and that often involve us. We need to make that a priority. Unfortunately, it's not something that we can do on our own timetable. We can't just expect our kids to talk when we're ready to listen. So you can't just plan a scheduled time in your day and go to your children and just say, okay, I'm ready to listen. What do you want to talk about? No, they need your listening ear throughout the day, and you need to be available for when they need to talk. Nothing's more important than being available when your kids need to talk to you. They open up on their schedule, not just when you're ready to listen and say, what's on your heart? What do you want to talk about? I've got 15 minutes. So if you're available to listen whenever and just be there for them when they're going through a difficult time and they want to share their emotions with you, it will create a bond. And then they're more willing to hear you out on other topics, and they know you care, so they feel that you're safe. So the key is being available. Don't just strive to keep them from the wrong without being there to provide what they need. And then number 3, we strive for compliance, but we forget the relationship that will bring compliance. In our effort to raise good children and require obedience, it's easy for us to become harsh as we strive to be firm. This harshness or anger is something that will quickly destroy the relationship that you have with your children. You've all heard the saying, rules without relationship breed rebellion. So it's much, much better for us to appeal to our children on the basis of love rather than using fear of our anger to get them to do what they should. In the book, Solving the Crisis in Homeschool, that was written by Reb Bradley, he talks about this, and I feel like he says it so well. What we didn't realize was there's a great difference between intimidating children into subjection and winning their hearts into submission. Intimidating children into subjection merely gains outward compliance. Having their hearts means gaining greater opportunity to influence their values. So it's important to remember to guard that relationship. And anger doesn't address the issue of the heart, but rather it confuses the learning process. The child begins to focus more on avoiding your anger rather than changing their heart. So be very careful to strive to build that relationship rather than just focus on the compliance. Number 4, sometimes we strive for compassion towards our kids, but we don't notice their feelings. All of us want to see our children through life circumstances that bring them pain. We want to be there to guide them through those situations and hopefully help them build strength and character as they learn to navigate those tough seasons in life. But oftentimes, what happens is we relate our own feelings into the situations based on our own experiences, and we miss how they're feeling in the process. So, listen first, pause before you speak, and try to see the situation through their eyes. This will help you see your child's heart through the tough times. And then, number 5, we strive for long term results while missing the season they are currently in. And don't get me wrong, I do feel that we need to have long term goals for where we want to go with our children, but we also need to focus on where they are. And even when our children are small, we often dream about their futures. We picture them when they're 10, 15, or 20, and we try to imagine who God is growing these children to be. But we can't get ahead of ourselves. We need to meet our kids where they're at today as God is molding and shaping them into the role that He has for them down the road. They'll try many things, they'll fail at some, they'll excel in some. But as parents, we need to be careful that we nurture them where they are at instead of rushing ahead and pushing them to where we want them to be. So, in summary, we know that we're going to make mistakes as parents because we're imperfect parents. But with God's help, we can ask Him to help us be aware of those mistakes that we're making that will push our kids away, and then to help us to repair any damaged relationships that may have occurred because of these mistakes. I'd also like to encourage you to join me for a free 5-day series. It's called 5 Parenting Mistakes That Lead to Rebellion. And in this series, we'll look at 5 ways that you can inadvertently instill a rebellious spirit in your child's heart. And then we'll give biblical answers as to how to deal with early rebellion. You'll get a daily email once every day for 5 days. And there's a link right there where you can click to join. Also, I want to just draw your attention to a special bundle that we're offering with this post. And it combines the 2 books, Parenting Mistakes That We Make That Push Our Children Away, as well as the book, Winning Your Child's Heart, Why It's Important and How to Do It. So check those offers out. I'd love to have you join me for this series. It will be an encouragement to you and will help guide you in preventing yourself from making these parenting mistakes that we're all prone to make.